I'm back. It's been a long time. Had to take time to reflect, but Richard here, IFBB Pro, and my podcast was designed and based on the mindset. Um, I feel it's time to tell my story of how I got into the sport and how I battled. Oh, where do I begin? Phew, growing up was very interesting. Good childhood, no regrets. Had a mother and father that were in the household. They worked. Dad worked a lot. Mom was the enforcer. Dad was a passive aggressor. Until I guess as I got older and I was being more of a hard-headed kid, talking back and rebelling, and I noticed change in my parents where they're becoming more distant. And it happens. Can't control it. No excuses. I am who I am because of both of them, how I grew up. But in the household, it was challenging. I have a sister, half sister. I don't really acknowledge, and that's another story. But this podcast is about my story. Um, Very active kid, very athletic. Um, my passion was, football, soccer, but boxing was what I loved. I was good with the hands. Like they called me Kid Rumble, KO Kid, because if there was a fight and Richard was there, he's knocking somebody out. It's just what it is. I always like to protect my friends. I guess I'm like what they say, I'm my brother's keeper, right? Um, growing up, grew up with kids older than me and didn't really hang out with kids my age. Maybe I grew up too fast. Who knows? But it is what it is. Um, so we used to go out partying clubs like every normal kid in soccer until I started getting older. I'm like, all right, you know what? I guess they call it the itch of ladies' man or girls coming to play, but it was just more or less, I just want to play sports. Um, I got into the music industry. Was in a group called Simply Majestic featuring Be Cool. We won a Juno Award and for best rap. We traveled. I did shows. I was a dancer. We did shows with MC Hammer, Ice T, Run DMC, LL Cool J, Marky Mark, just to name a few. Our group, dance group, was called Body, Mind, Rhythm, and Soul. Big shout out to Age, other Adrian, myself, Mark. I haven't seen Mark in years. We've lost touch, but some of us still stay together, whatnot. But yeah, got older, and that was what we did: dance, school, and whatnot. And till one time, I was out Friday night with some of my buddies. God rest his soul, Swelly Fingers. You're looking down on me. Hope you're doing well. Um, we had an altercation that shouldn't have happened, but we were stupid kids. We were walking down the sidewalk, and we seen these two big rocker guys, metal on their jackets. So we knew they were rockers, as we called them, and they kept looking at us, and we sort of edged it on. So yeah, we got into an altercation. Um, Punches were blown. I was hitting, punching. I grabbed one guy, and being a young kid, just went viral. Didn't even think twice. Got a rock and I started smashing his head and blood everywhere. And then we took off. Then we got. It was all over the news. Cops came, like 20 cruisers, and everybody scattered. We didn't get caught that night, but the next night, I guess someone he must have recognized one of the guys or whatnot, and got around. And those guys, if they would have got caught, look at that big time because they were adults. I was a juvenile, so I took the blame. Um, they're like, if you tell who the rest of the guys are, we'll let you off, and no problem. I'm not no rat. Just one thing I won't do. I won't rat. Plain and simple. So I took the blame. I was in grade 9. Um, so I did 18 months close custody in a place called St. John's. Um, I went to a place called 311, which is a holding cell for juvenile delinquents, fingerprinted, all that crap, and got shipped out to a farm in Uxbridge. And it was far. I got out there. I was looking around. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to escape, and I can't stay here. But there's nowhere to go. And they had you in uniforms, yellow suits, red suits. So if you forgot in the town, they knew that you were a young offender. You got caught, beats coming back. So I didn't go AWOL. I stayed up, took my punishment. I'm like, you know what? I'll do my time. And I went up for bail, got denied. And then the school teachers wrote a letter and helped with the process. Because this now it's been 12 months in custody. And my sentence was 18 months. Harsh, but it is what it is. I got out in the 13th month thanks to friends who helped out, teachers for the letters and whatnot. And when I came out, it was just like a whole new level. But while I was incarcerated, I didn't want to stay in my like dorm. It's like a cell. So you have a big dorm of all the kids, and you have your individual rooms. And every morning you get out, you got to check in, stand in line, you do the head counts and all that stuff. So this guy, Mr. Dunn, um, amazing, came up to me, looked at me like, "You work out?" No. So I heard you're the tough guy. And I'm like, why is this guy pressing me for? Like, I don't want no problems. I'm like, no, I'm good. He goes, well, if you want to get out of your lockup, we come to the gym, work out, shoot some hoops. I'm thinking to myself, why does this guy ask me to go shoot some hoops? So I went out, went to the gym, and he was teaching me some things, how to lift and this and that. And when I got out, people looked at me like, bro, what happened? I was just jacked. Bread, food, ate well, no problems there. Ate well, got rest, and that's how I dabbled into the bodybuilding. I guess sort of like a startup, but I had no intentions to be where I'm at today, getting on stage, competing. That wasn't my forte. So back in school in grade 10, I'm like, okay, let's get myself together and get in their path, try to do things right, and playing soccer and down, road, more fights happen, blah blah blah. Nothing too serious, but it is what it is. And then it was time to decide what I'm gonna do after high school. Got some scholarship offers, so I went down to play in the states, South Carolina, on a soccer scholarship, and that's, oof. I knew racism was tough, but we didn't really understand what racism here, how it is down in the states. That's a whole new level. What I mean by that is, straight up, when I got to the university, the reason I signed, teacher came down, Coach Murray, and he like gave me all this swag, and you're gonna start, and your position is ready for you. So everything was cool. Went down for the tour, and the first place they took me to was the beach. Girls, I'm like, Coach, sign me up. I'm in. We'll check the other, campus, make sure. No, I'm good. Where do I sign? Sign a letter of intent. Come up to Toronto. Tell everybody I'm going away at being school by August 16th. So I got down to university August 16th, checking in for registration. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of white people. I didn't see many black athletes. And when I got down there, it didn't dawn on me because I'm at the beach. So I'm just like, I'm not thinking about that. But when I'm in the lineup and I'm registering, I'm like, maybe the other athletes coming on a different day, no issue. Get to the front of the line, and I said to Lady, it's, Richard from Canada, blah, blah, blah. She said to me exact words, I won't say because it used to get monetized, the N word. Hey, N word, follow the yellow line. And I said, what did you say? I sort of chuckled. I'm like, sorry, ma'am, I didn't hear you. I'm looking for it. She goes, A-N, follow the yellow line. And I was like, yo, this girl's serious. So I backed up and I put on my defense mode. And this my guy grabbed me and goes, hey, you know where you at? I said, I know where I'm at, but you better get your hands off me because where I'm from, we don't get down like that. Like, I'm ready to knuckle up because I'm on fight or flight now. And he goes, look in the corner. So I look in the corner and I look up. And he goes, you know what that is? I said, yeah, Dukes of Hazzard flag. Because that's how we remember it as in the show Dukes of Hazzard, the general, everything's cool. He goes, that's a Confederate flag. Because they're in a racist state. I'm like, is it really that bad? So I'm sitting there now. I'm like, okay. Get to my dorm, trying to chill, be calm. And I see this letter on the door. And it says, hey, and let's see if you make it. So I'm thinking to myself, are they trying to play with me or test my limits? I'm being cool, no issues. Call home. I said, yo, mom, like, it's different out here. Like, these people are cut from a different cloth. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the lady called me the N word and I just didn't feel comfortable. Like, I don't know about this. And she said to me, son, when I grew up, I had to walk 2 miles to school, sometimes three, going through different routes just not to get rocks thrown at me. And you got to toughen up. Mom, you didn't have TVs in those days. Like, it's different. And then she said, hey, put your big boy pants on. You're a man now. I'm like, all right, cool. Is your dad around? So she's like, he's not here. I'm like, because he knew that I'd be calling in. He'd come by periodically, but he left, like I said. But so I did my years, blah blah blah. During practice, it was tough because it seemed like they're trying to break your legs. They were going like not really friendly, but it is what it is. So finished, did my tenure, a couple stints. I remember one time coming off campus and they told us if you come off campus, make sure to be group and you're wearing your school uniform. I'm like, come off campus, I don't wear my school uniform. It's kind of corny. So I have my little things on, clothes, jacket, and I'm going out. Me and this guy, Chris and Tim, and this car rolled up on us fast. All we was, hey, cool, get on the ground, shotgun. I'm like, oh shit. I'm gonna die out here. And we're in the fields now. So if they were to kill me, nobody would know. Well, my teammates, I don't think they'd kill them because they were white, but straight up, no diddy. I peed my pants. I was scared because having a shotgun to your head, and I've had a best friend get killed in front of me, and it's not a pretty sight. So I was traumatized for a bit. Because what are you doing out here? I'm like, going to the store, and he goes, Jimmy, what are you doing with this coon? I'm like, you play soccer with us. And it's just like, oh, he looked at me and just gave me like one of those looks like, what are you doing with him? But we had a game on Friday and they're cheering and clapping with one, so it just didn't make sense to me. So whatever, we walked back, didn't get to the store. Next game, we're playing now. We're playing in Savannah University, and they were throwing bananas at me. Taking a corner kick and they're throwing bananas. So I'm like looking at my coach. I'm like, he looked at me like, hey, let it go. I just took up the banana, peeled it, took a bite, threw it down. It probably wasn't the right thing to do, but I want to show them that you're not affecting me, right? So it is what it is. I did that. Years went by, and long story short, graduated. Went to play overseas, so played in China for a bit. It was it was different. So did all that. Made some good money, so no complaints. After that, I just got seasick, and I was just like homesick. Sorry, I'm just like I gotta get out of here. I told my teammate I'm bouncing, so I went AWOL. Not smart, but down there when I had no one to really connect with, like they didn't speak the language, it was hard for me to communicate. So I went AWOL, and I was home, and my agent found out, and he was like, "Where are you?" I'm just like, "I'm at home." He's like, "I heard you're not at practice." I'm like, "No, I just left." And he goes, "You buy a fax machine?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Check the fax." So I go buy a fax machine and go to check it. New contract. I think it was 350K signing bonus, um, 2 years. I'm like, yo, all right, let's do it. And then it goes, but they don't want you now because they know that you left. That was what you could have got if you would have stayed one more day. So I said to him, and you couldn't give me a heads up. He goes, fax just came in. I relayed the message. You're not there. So I sort of got blacklisted because I tried to go back and just no team wanted to sign me. I guess they made a point of it that I was cancer and all that, but so I left. Came back home, just worked, trained, played soccer in the Canadian Professional League out here a couple of years. It just wasn't the same. The challenge, money's not the same, but it was all right. Um, then my buddy was getting into working out, and I was just frustrated. I was like, I'm kind of stressed, and I should go and blah blah blah. And then I get this is like 3 years after I left, and 4 years. I was like, do I go back and try another stint? I'm like, nah, the ride is over. Um, went back for the school reunion. Why I don't know, but I went back and nothing really changed. Same shit. So I came back up here, and at the night it came up, I brought one of my friends down south because he's never been to Canada. Stayed with me, and we went out to go eat with dinner reservations. And then my phone rings. I'm like, what's going on here? Pick up the phone and he goes, yo, it's James. Where you at? I'm like, downtown. Didn't want to tell him really because it's just like I had plans. Did you come by the bar, have a drink? I'm just like, no, man, I can't. I'm down by such and such street. My luck, his bar is just, how can I not go? So I went in, have a drink. When you walk into a place, you're like, this doesn't feel like good environment. This vibe is not there. So I look over at my buddy Tim. I'm like, yo, let's finish up and get out of here. So as we finish up, he bumped into one Asian dude, spilled his drink, no issues. Brought him around, we flexed. Um, we were leaving now, and as you leave the club, you have to go up the back entrance. Weird. So I'm going to the back entrance, and it goes into an alley. And as I'm walking, I feel like these people are following me. So I turn around, and I see these guys just looking around. I'm like, something's up, because I got good instincts. So long story short, I go to Tim. Once we get outside, just go to the car, bounce. What about the dinner? I go, let's just bounce. Like, all right, get down close to the car. I'm like, hey, turn around. So where are you guys from? And I'm with this blonde guy, pretty boy. So they're just pressing. All of a sudden, he wants to play hero. Yo, we can take him, Rich. I'm like, dog, when did you become a fighter? Because last I checked in school, you weren't a fighter. You were just one of those clapback. You know what I mean? But I'm like, all right. My boy's like, yo, 101. Why does this fight anybody? No, I got this, Rich. All right. Me now, I'm like, all right, teach him a lesson. Go handle your business. So he's handling his business. So he must have learned some shit. But I go, hey, I'm jumping in to break up the fight. So I yell, I'm jumping in to break up the fight. Next thing you know, it's smash. I'm like, felt the bottle. I turn around, it's like, no blood. I'm like, all right. So I sort of stand up and I see this guy lunging, running towards me. So I pick him up and I flip him over. And I'm just giving him the work. And then I gave him an elbow strike, and he went like limp. I let go, I get up, I'm walking back to Tim now, and I'm like, my nose. So I'm like, I go to wipe my nose, and I felt my thumb go in my nose. So I'm like, oh shit. So blood there now. So I took my shirt, peeled up, and all I heard is blood squirting like a fountain. So I'm panicking now. I'm like, Tim, and blood's going everywhere now. I see blood squirting, and I'm panicking now. So I grab my chest and I lean back, and next you know it, I hit a car and boom on bright light. And I remember hearing it's clear, clear, clear. So I guess I must have flatlined. Well, they said it flatlined in the ambulance and on the operating table because I was stabbed 7 times across my nose, my chest, my bicep, my lung, my inner groin area, and my thigh. yeah, so I was in the hospital for like 7 months. Had nerve damage. I kept going in and out of consciousness. They're like, I lost a lot of blood. You're probably gonna need a blood transfusion. I'm like, not happening. Straight up, like I know, but for me personally, I came in with this blood. I'm going out with this blood. I ain't taking no one's blood. That's just not me. If I gotta go, gotta go. I'm not taking not from a family member. No. And like, we gotta think about, you lost a lot of blood, and no, not doing it. Told my girl, not doing it. So okay. So I had a tube in my lung, because I had a collapsed lung. So I had to perform an operation. So to put the tube in, they had to have small rib cage. They had to break a rib. So when you break a rib, you're breaking two, because you got to get the tube in, because you're gonna experience some pain. I'm like, I can take it. Just give me a shot or drug me up, and he goes, you can't knock you out. You got to be conscious. I'm like, all right. He goes, you might want to need a towel. I go, what? He goes, just bite down. Sitting in the hospital bed, and I see this guy come up with a platter and like almost like a crowbar and a rubber hammer. Like, bro, yo, what are you doing with that? I got to break your rib. You look like you're enjoying this, man. Like, I don't know about that. Like, just let me think about this, because we don't have time. Like, we got to get to this lung, because it'll be fast. It'll be one, two, three, and that's it. I'm like, all right. I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, are you gonna go one, two, bang, or one, two, three, go? He goes, come on, make up your mind. I'm like, yo, just do it. All I heard was crack, and I'm like, fuck. I yelled so loud, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill you when I get better. You're enjoying this. I was flipping out, and then blood going through. They put the tube in. They go, don't look down. Tell someone not to look down. What did they do? They look down. I'm seeing blood down. I'm getting lightheaded and consciousness. All I remember is just passing out. And then yeah, so I got out, and I was traumatized. I couldn't be around Asian people. One of my best friends were Asians. Long story, they did get caught. Um, they got charged with attempted murder, went to Kingston, blah, blah, blah. And I'm at home resting, and I get a phone call. And I'm like, who's calling? To my girl at the time. She's like, I don't know, this guy, June. I'm like, June? I don't know no June. Because he says he knows you from high school. I'm thinking, shit, they know where I live. They're going to come get me. I'm panicking now. So I'm like, yeah, put him on the phone. I'm like, yo, what do you want, man? You think I'm scared of you? And he goes, calm the F down, Rich. This is so and so. And I'm like, who are you? And then I remember they gave me like, you're our chill kid Rumble. And no one knows me that unless they're close by. So I must have knew him. So he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I heard what happened. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of it. What are you talking about? Because I know who did it. I got you. I don't want you to do anything. I'm good. Because don't worry about it. If you're good, you need anything, here's the number, call. That was it. I think like 4 weeks later, I found out he got killed in jail. I don't know what happened, but you hear no evil, see no evil. So I left it at that. So skipping forward now, I was never the same. A couple years later, just my mind was never right. I fell through depression. Um, Me and my ex, well, my girl at the time, who became my ex, we just weren't in a good place, just because of what has happened, and trying to run a business, and seeing that she was doing me in the business caused a lot of trauma, a lot of my clients, and it was just a shit show. But yeah, when people say depression, I didn't know what it was until I went through it. People, it's a serious thing, right? So I thought it was time for me to come out and talk about that. But am I better now? I'm in a better place mentally, but not where I want to be as yet. But that takes time. So the reason for this podcast is called the mindset, and for this episode is this is my story, how I got into bodybuilding, because I wanted to release some stress. So after I got better from the sabus and rehab, my best bet was go to the gym and just let out the anger. My body started transforming, and a good friend of mine was helping me out, helping him get ready for a show, and it just clicked. So that's part one, how I got into it, and my story. Stay tuned, part two, more details, more graphic stuff. But That's it for today, February 2nd, Black History Month. Every month, every day is Black History for me. We out. Peace.